In order for us to better understand the areas of concern and appreciate the best practices in data privacy and protection in a limited face to face class, let's discuss first the key concepts pertaining to Republic Act number 10173, known as the Data Privacy Act of 2012. The Data Privacy Act of 2012 is an act protecting individual personal information in information and communication systems in the government and the private sector, creating for this purpose a National Privacy Commission and for other purposes. The law upholds the right to privacy by protecting individual personal information. The data subject is an individual whose personal information, sensitive personal information, or privileged information is being processed. The law affords the data subject eight rights. The right to be informed. The data subject has the right to be informed whether personal data pertaining to him or her will be, are being, or were processed. The right to access. The data subject has the right to find out whether an organization holds any personal data about him or her, and if so, gain reasonable access to them. Through this right, the data subject may also ask them to provide him or her with a written description of the kind of information they have about, as well as their purpose or purposes for holding them. The right to object. The data subject has the right to object to the processing of his or her personal data, including processing for direct marketing, automated processing, or profiling. The right to erasure or blocking. Under the law, the data subject has the right to suspend, withdraw, or order the blocking, removal, or destruction of personal data. The right to rectify allows the data subject to dispute any inaccuracy or error in the personal information process and to have the personal information controller correct it immediately. In line with this, the Personal Information Controller must ensure that the new and the retracted information will be accessible and that third parties who receive the erroneous data will be informed upon the request of the data subject. The right to data portability enables the data subject to obtain and electronically move, copy, or transfer personal data for further use. This also carries out another policy behind the law ensuring the free flow of personal information. The right to damages affords a remedy to any data subject who feels that his or her personal information has been misused, maliciously disclosed, or improperly disposed, or in case of any violation of his or her data privacy rights. The right to file a complaint. The data subject should be indemnified for any damages sustained due to such false, incomplete, outdated, unlawfully obtained, or unauthorized use of personal data, considering any violation of his or her rights and freedoms as a data subject. So the three classification of personal data are personal information, sensitive personal information, and privileged information. Personal information refers to any information from which the identity of an individual is apparent. So for example, the name, the place of work, telephone number, the birth date. It also refers to any information that can be put together with other information to reasonably and directly identify an individual. Sensitive personal information includes the individual's race, ethnic origin, marital status, age, color, and religious, philosophical, political affiliations, as well as the individual's health, education, genetic or sexual life, or to any proceeding for any offense committed or alleged to have been committed by the individual. It also includes government issued personal numbers like SSS, GSIS, and previous or current health records and tax returns. Privileged information refers to any and all forms of data which, under the rules of court and other pertinent laws, constitute privileged communication. Another concept that you should be familiar with is processing. It is any operation of any set of operations performed upon personal data, including but not limited to the collection, recording, organization, storage, updating, or modification, retrieval, consultation, use, consolidation, blocking, erasure, or destruction of data. The Personal Information Controller refers to a person or organization who controls the collection, holding, processing, or use of personal information, including a person or organization who instructs another person or organization to collect, hold, process, use, transfer, or disclose personal information on his or her behalf. He is not the employee, not the data protection officer, or not the chief information officer. The personal information processor refers to any natural or juridical person qualified to act as such under this act to whom a personal information controller may outsource the processing of personal data pertaining to a data subject. Personal information processor should not make use of personal data for its own. So again, the three roles in relation to the Data Privacy Acts, we have the data subject, the data controller, and the data processor. So in terms of consent of the data subject, this refers to any freely given, specific, informed indication of will whereby the data subject agrees to the collection and processing of his or her personal, sensitive personal, or privileged information. Consent shall be evidenced by written, electronic, or recorded means. It may also be given on behalf of a data subject by a lawful representative or an agent specifically authorized by the data subject to do so.